Good morning, everybody. I will start. We are really happy to have you with us today. So my name is Bettina Fröhlich, and I'm member of the Baricha Indian Club in Paris for luxury and craftsmanship. So I have the pleasure to animate this morning today with all our different speakers. And we will record the session in case you are attending a little bit later. So thank you very much for being with us. In case you, I want that you just tell us from where you are, because in the chat that will be nice, so that we know from where you are, and I'm really happy to start right now. So let us start with our first speaker, Gabrielle de Montmorin. I'm happy to met her a few years before, and she's a really important person in Paris, because she works with all the different magazines, really high end, and also most important magazines like Les Echos and all that. And now she wrote a book, because she is a great expert in luxury as well. And the book is called Les Horizons du Luxe. So but she will tell you later on what she did in this book. So she did interviews with 25 big and huge professionals in this area to share that they share their vision with you. And I really appreciated this book. And I'm so happy that Gabrielle de Montmorin did immediately, yes, I will come to the webinar. And I'm so happy, Gabrielle, to have you with us today. So I will give you the micro, and let us see you later.
So this is my turn, okay? Thank you for your invitation. I'm not an expert, because the theme is about beauty, and I'm not an expert at beauty like Florence and Héloise and Bettina, but effectively I have the chance to I always have a crush for luxury, and this book, which is my third book, I wanted to make a sort of overview of luxury, which means to have an interview with all the business leaders in all fields. So, which means beauty, for example, with Guerlain, and I will tell you about Anne-Caroline Prazan, who is a very brilliant woman, but there is also in the book Bugatti for supercar. There is Alaya and Berluti for fashion. There is super stars, 9 stars chef Anne-Sophie Pic. So all the fields of luxury, with the idea of, in 2025, what is luxury? What does it mean? And as we said with Anish, India is very important and will be more and more important in this field. So concerning beauty with Guerlain, it was very interesting, because Anne-Caroline Prazan has a very specific position, because she is director brand, culture and heritage. And what is important is this job was created especially for her. So it's very interesting, because it shows how luxury brands analyze and give people new mission to be able to because, you know, all the marketing departments are always focused on storytelling. Storytelling is absolutely essential now. It's crucial. But you have to be quite authentic, because if you are not, if you don't link to origins of the brand, of your brand, it will not match with the brand. For a new product, you can't launch a new product which is not linked to the brand, to its heritage, and that's one of the mission of Anne-Caroline. And it's very interesting because, for example, she had the idea to create under La Samaritaine, which is it's a luxury department store, and the name is La Réserve des Sublimes. In English, it's not the same. It's La Réserve des Sublimes of Sublime, but it doesn't mean. It's 25,000 objects of Guerlain. It's not a museum at all. It's a very exclusive spot where creative teams can come to be inspired, to think about new products, and for some very, very, very exclusive customers, they have a privileged visit. So, you know, it's the way the brand now, the notion of experience, which is so many important. You have to be creative to invent new new experience, and Le Crayon, for example, which is also Vincent Billard in the book, created a new experience dinner. One of them is, the name is Les Mystères de Guerlain, the Mysteries of Guerlain. And it is with the master parfumeur Thierry Vasseur. And people have this very exclusive, intimate experience with a dinner with this parfumeur of Guerlain. So all that to say that the brand today have to create new content to seduce the old generation, but also the new one, the Gen Z and etc. So thanks to this book, but we all know that luxury is really about rarity, exclusivity, and excellence. And you have to make very authentic storytelling, which matches with the product to seduce all these new customers, I think. And India, I don't know for beauty, because I'm not like Héloise and Florence. I'm not an expert, but in jewelry, I'm an expert in jewelry. India is such interesting because there are so many links between France and India, because in the 19th century, all the Maharaja came Place Vendôme, and I had the chance to write a leading article about this, because it's absolutely reciprocity. Indian Maharajas came with their amazing sense of color, with their amazing technique of setting, for example, the Kundan, and so many things. And so it was a reciprocity between Vendôme and India. And today, India for gemstones is absolutely crucial, and it's very big market for setting gems, of course. And it's also a very inspirational country for brands like Boucheron, for example. Claire Chouan, the artistic director of the brand, very often celebrate India, but with a very modern way. And you have a very famous creator whose name it's an American, but it's been based in Paris for many, many years, whose name is Joseph Rosenthal. The name is 𝐤𝐲, and 𝐤𝐲 is the same. Have a lot of links with India and in the customer, because Indian are very they are very expert in beautiful jewelry. And I had the chance to meet, for example, Viren Bhagat, who is a very famous creative, but I'm not sure that in France, India, jewelry creators are so famous. I think there is a step to be done, but there are so many links. Yes, so many links between India and our country for luxury.
So thank you very much, Gabrielle, for this introduction.
My pleasure.
So interesting. Also, I have really to suggest you to read this book.
But unfortunately, it's not translated. It's only in
It's
French.
not translated, but there are so many people from Paris, so they have to.
Yes, but it's in French.
No, and so I know that you are so busy, and I'm really happy that that you're here with us, and also especially for coming back to what we told in our last webinar. Came a little bit back to that. So it's really so I really invite you to follow our webinars, because all the time you will meet people who are specialists in a field of luxury, and they will really share really helpful information for you and for the market as well. I will put the word to Anish Singh, to the president of the club. So, Anish, do you want to go ahead, please?
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, all the speakers, and thanks, all the participants, to be with us. So I'll start with a presentation of Bharatiya Paris Club. It starts with me because I was born in India. I have lived around 21 years in India, and actually I'm since 12 years in France. Sometimes when I speak French, I have English accent, and when I speak English, I have French accent. So last time when I was meeting, I had a meeting at the Indian embassy. They asked me if I was an Indian person or if I was born in France because of my French accent. So I thought that I had a great treasure of multicultural knowledge. So that's why I left a bit IT sector. I went to work for bridging between France and India. So as I had seen, I was ahead of time. So I saw that India was really changing fast in digital sector and also in the economical sector. And I knew that with time, India would become an interesting market for the luxury brands from Europe. So during my master in ESSEC, I started my thesis on Indian luxury market. And then my director of thesis was Mr. Ashok Som, who is on the subject since 15 years, and he's one of the most important person working on this subject. So for my thesis, I started to get in contact with all the brands, mainly the CEOs and directors of many brands from Paris, Geneva, and also from Italy. What I found out was that on the European side, everybody, like most of the person we meet, people are passionate about India. There is something cultural which attracts people from Europe towards India. But I came to conclusion that the knowledge of Indian market was not still there. It was something interesting, but it was still like in 2023. It was an unexpected market. The brands were not expecting India to be an interesting market. So I did my thesis. I went to the Indian side. I interviewed all the experts from Titan, from Reliance Jewelry, from someone who was working at eBay. I collected a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of research, and I thought of using it to help brands to grow to grow their knowledge on Indian market. So I started an association with the aim to develop the knowledge of Indian market, but also to bring together people who can develop it together. We are working on the both side. On the European side, we see India as a market. On the Indian side, we work to develop the craftsmanship, to help the craftsmen to put in value their craftsmanship. So we'll be bringing some textile projects, some craftsmanship projects. We'll be bringing craftsmen from India to Paris, and we'll do something huge. And thank you, Bettina, for this. Thanks again for this wonderful webinar.
So Florence and Héloise, could you hear me?
Yes, we are here. Yes, we are here.
So I will give you the possibility to share your screen. Could you share?
You need to activate the sharing
Yeah, I activated
function.
it. So Florence Bernardin is a member of the cosmetic executive woman in Paris as well, like me, and she's an amazing expert in the whole Asia Pacific area. And I'm really, really proud to have her tonight with us, as well as Héloise, which is her specialist for the Indian market. And so Florence will start and Héloise will finish it. So
yeah. Do you see the screen, Bettina? Do you see a full screen?
Everything is fine.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Bettina, to have invited us to share some insight today regarding the beauty trends. We're mostly going to talk about, actually, Héloise is mostly going to talk about skincare, and we could have added, of course, the amazing world of fragrance in India, but this will be the topic of another session, I suggest, Bettina. So few words about who we are and why we are going to talk about the Indian beauty trends. It's because, yes, I'm the pink girl in the center. I'm Florence Bernardin, and I created more than 20 years ago a very particular consulting agency, which is really monitoring the Asian trends. So we started 20 years ago from North Asia, of course, Japan, and then Korea and China. And for more than 6 years now, almost 7 years, we are also tracking all what's happening in the South Asian part, which means Thailand, Indonesia, but more than ever, the Indian market. And so we are really, the way we work is that we work from the product. So what is launched, what's happening from the skincare, the makeup, the hair care, or whatever happening on the market. And we provide a lot of trend analysis services, forecasting, and a lot of personalized consulting for the beauty field. And as I said, today is about skincare, but of course there is the fragrance and a lot of things coming up related to other areas of beauty. So yes, I'm gonna let, I'm not alone in that work. We are a team of experts. We are based near Paris. All my team are really deep experts of the beauty of the region. And Héloise, who is working with me for more than 6 years, Héloise Lefebvre Dupré, because she has a full name. She's not just Héloise. Héloise is the specialist, and she will share all her knowledge and on what's coming up. And as you were explaining, it is true that we are passionate about the market. We are passionate about India. And the knowledge of the market was actually very limited. But thanks to the work we are providing and so on, you see that now you can have a very deep and intense understanding of what's happening. So here I'm going to give the screen now to Héloise.
Hello, everyone. So, as Florence was just mentioning, we have been working on the Indian market since 2018. And it's true that, as it was mentioned before, it was a market that was at the time considered like not considered so much by all the international brands. And now we are seeing a very, very big acceleration of the market. And one of the first reasons is that it's one of the biggest markets in the world, and it's one of the biggest market with the youngest population. It's approximated 600 million people under the age of 25. So it's a very young population. And it's, of course, after China, a market that is really interesting for international brands. It's also a market that has now a lot of local, very interesting brands. It's also a market that is estimated that will have a very, very big per capita growth from now to 2040. So it's a market that is at the moment, we were just introduced about luxury and luxury in India. At the moment, especially for beauty, the market is not just about luxury, but it's getting more and more sophisticated. And what we see is that there is a market premiumization, as we see that, for instance, 44% of the Indians that are interested in science-backed skincare are willing to pay more when they know that there are active ingredients that penetrate deeper into the skin. So there is both a market sophistication and a market premiumization. And it is estimated that by 2035, the market will reach $4 billion. And today it's considered to be around $1 billion. So it's the size of the Indian luxury beauty market. So we see that there is a lot of space for growth. And apart from just these numbers, we have to know that there is a sophistication and an evolution of the beauty routine. Just to make a bit about the context. It's a market that when we started working on it with Florence, the market was a very, very basic market in terms of beauty. Most of the consumers only had one or two skincare products and maybe one or two makeup products. And today we see that Indian consumers are moving from a one product regimen to a 5 or 6 product regimen. So it's really, really changing. And we see that both influencers, dermatologists, and even local consumers are talking about the routine, about layering, about having 4 or 5 steps, about having new ingredients in the routines. And it's really showing that the market is growing toward this sophistication and have a very big appetite for beauty. And when we talk about beauty, today I will talk about skincare, hair care, and makeup. But of course, as Florence was just saying, fragrance is also starting to grow, especially local fragrance brands. So what we see is not only that the international brands are now entering the markets and are really excited about the Indian markets, but when we look at local brands, a lot of brands are really making products that are really dedicated to the local consumer. And we have local brands that are really going to cater to very specific needs, such as light texture for the hot climates, reinforced hydration, and protection against the climatic conditions and the pollutions, for instance. And these are brands that are really understanding and studying the nature of Indian skin and Indian hair in all its diversity to provide adequate solution. And my take here and my advice here is to also look at these local brands, because although they are not luxurious brands, they are brands that are not basic at all. They are brands that are going more in the premium, or let's say the masstige category. And they are the brands that really know their consumers. So when we are international brands, being a luxury, a prestige brands, or even a masstige brands, it's really important to look at these brands because they are the ones that are studying what's happening on their own markets and finding the most accurate solutions for their particular problems or concerns, such as Moxie Beauty, which is a quite new brand on the hair care markets and that has studied for 2 years the Indian hair problems, the 5 climatic zones that we have in India, the very different hair types that you can find in India. And again, it's very important when you think about India to not think about India as just a whole place like India is almost the size of a continent, and the different cultural habits between the north and the south, the east and the west, the different climatic conditions, the different seasons are also very different. The different of skin types, of skin colors is also very different. So you have to understand also the specific of local and regional specifics to also adapt your brand and your products. And for instance, we also have a brand like Brown, which is called a Pro Melanin Care brand. It's a brand who has both skincare and makeup products that are really trying to change the perspective on brown skin in India, and to understand and to appreciate the difference of the different, melanin-rich skin, and how it's different, and how you can have very specific skincare adapted to these different skin tones, which is also something to keep in mind when you think about the local markets. There is also the importance of understanding some of the Indian skin concerns. And here there are just some little insights that we give you. Of course, there is a lot to know about India, so there are just like some insights that we pick up, especially about the top 3 skin concerns among Indian respondents, which are dark circles, sensitive skin, and dark spots. And you have to know that dark circles and pigmentation are really, really huge concerns in skincare, and sensitive skin is also an area that is expanding a lot, which gives a very big opportunity, especially for derma brands. And we have a lot of clients from the derma or clinic space that are really interested in India now and trying to understand what is the right, for instance, price positioning when you want to enter the Indian market. Of course, looking healthy is also a top perception of beauty among Indian, and you have to know that there is this link between your health and your beauty that is very important in the traditional medicine system in India called Ayurveda. And so the idea of beauty is also very linked to the idea of general health of the body. And now we also see that 1 in 2 Indian consumers now prefer to do facials and have their own skincare routine at home. So we see that they're more and more interested in having their own routine, buying their own products, and they are also becoming more skin intellectual, so knowing more about the skincare ingredients they use for their particular concerns. So I was mentioning Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is the traditional medicine system that has been for thousands of years in India, and it's very closely linked to health, but also to nature with a lot of natural ingredients, and very linked also to beauty with a lot of different rituals and traditions that comes from Ayurveda that a lot of Indian consumers, especially women, still use on a daily basis. And we see that because of the COVID and because of the general, let's say, green beauty wave worldwide, there has been a regained interest in Ayurveda in the last years. But the consumers are now looking for natural ingredients, but the ingredients that are also very effective for their skin and for their hair. So you have, for instance, brands like Forest Essential. I would say it is really the Indian prestige brand that has been on the market for more than 20 years and that is really appreciated by Indian consumers. It's one of the, let's say, luxury brands in India. And this brand recently launched a new 2-step ritual that is an anti-aging ritual, and it is based both on Ayurvedic ingredients but also on more scientific ingredients. So what they're really trying to do now is to merge both a more natural and Ayurvedic approach of beauty and a quite luxurious one with a new, more scientific approach, especially to anti-aging, as we know that now consumers are more and more aware and interested in early aging, anti-aging as one of their concerns. Yeah, and we also see that regarding hair care and especially hair oils, new brands are doing new kind of formats such as mini formats, visible ingredients in their formats, and the brands are trying to revamp something Ayurveda has been there for long time in a more modern way. And what we also see is the importance of the derma care and the procedure inspiration. It's becoming very, very huge in India. And in a way, before talking about pure luxury, we can really talk about a sophistication, and some brands, especially the ones that you have on the right side, 𝐂𝐞𝐛𝐢𝐧𝐚 and Just Humans, they are actually brands that are going more into a bit more expensive and more luxurious, or at least prestige, masstige kind of category, because we see that the medical care into skincare is more and more important, and products that say they are Botox-like or filler-like are more important. And we also see the importance of K-beauty and J-beauty with products such as this micro-needling product that was just launched by The Dermaco, which is a leading, very affordable dermatological brand in India. As I was mentioning before, you also have a more prestigious approach, such as Just Human, who launched peptide cream that is supposed to replace your Botox at home. Of course, there is also the importance of protecting your skin in a country where there is a very hard sun exposure and an exposure also to pollution. And we have seen with the leading beauty retailer called 𝐖𝐞𝐛𝐢𝐧𝐚 that there has been a surge in the research and the growth of sunscreen sales in the latest 2 years in the Indian markets. So it's both local brands trying to have a very lightweight texture with a lot of very trendy ingredients to cater also to the Gen Z, and a lot of hybrid products such as a primer that also do sunscreen, or hair serums that are also having sun protection. So that's something also to really keep in mind now on the market, because it's one of the categories that is booming the most. There is, of course, the rise of the exposome care, and especially we know that India represents almost 25% of the South Asian market for a share for anti-pollution skincare product, especially in the big cities of India. And we see that some very prestige brands, very niche brands like 𝐖𝐞𝐛𝐢𝐧𝐚 Neurocosmetics launched an anti-pollution cream and also an anti-stress cream. So they are really trying to focus on this new urban lifestyle in India in a more prestige way to offer new solutions. And of course, you also have the hair care with hard water products. So products that are going to protect the hair against the hard water, which is a very big concern in a lot of big Indian cities. There is also the sensorial expansion, and this for me also goes in the idea of sophistication and a market that is more prestige, with brands that are really playing on a difference of texture, with a lighter texture, cooling textures such as 𝐷U. And I want really to mention 𝐷U because it's a brand that launched 2 or 3 years ago on the Indian market. And for the Indian market, it's a brand that is more on the high price, especially in the skincare category. And it's a brand that is still working really, really well because they have a very nice texture, very interesting ingredients, and they are backed also by different celebrities, which make the brand relevant, although it's quite expensive for the market. The same goes for the brand 𝐿 in hair care, who launched a lot of products inspired by the Korean market, which are quite expensive for the market, but are still working well because they do deliver on the claims and the benefits that they are talking about. We also see the skinification of beauty, which means we see a transfer of the skincare benefits reaching other categories such as makeup. And one brand that I really like to mention for that is Type Beauty. It's a small niche brand in India, but I like their philosophy, which is about concealing and healing. So it's a brand that does at the same time skincare and makeup in one product, and they are targeting all the skin concerns such as pigmentation and acne, but also provide amazing makeup results. And we also see brands that are quite affordable, such as 𝐖𝐞𝐻 or Sugar, that are now also enriching the formula with peptide and with a lot of skincare ingredients, which also show a premiumization in the makeup category. And this is something that we definitely would say, I would say, is quite important, is that the makeup is also going in a more prestige direction. And generally, we know that beauty is growing really fast now in India. And the beauty market, affluent beauty contributes to 50% of the growth. And it's growing at twice the pace of the rest of the market. So we know that really let's say the beauty that is the most expensive and the most prestige is the one that is really pushing also the markets. And so we see new brands such as �Mocha Beauty, which is a very, very new brand that has a concept about holistic makeup and that is revamping the art of kajal and the art of eye makeup in India, which is very important, in a super attractive, modern and prestige way. We also see that international brands like Estée Lauder do collaboration with Sabyasachi, which is an amazing fashion designer, super luxurious fashion designer. And they did last year a limited edition lipstick collection, so really going into more like the luxury. And we also see smaller brands like Tipsy Beauty, who are also playing on very luxurious, very amazing kind of packaging and engraved blusher and makeup to make it, to really make it towards the Indian consumer, to make it more prestigious, more attractive. And this brand, I saw them in a very luxurious mall in Delhi. So I think they are really targeting a particular consumers in India. But just that to say that there is a lot happening on the Indian market. And although, especially for skincare and hair care, it's still a market that is more on the mass or the masstige. For instance, in makeup, we are seeing also a shift towards more prestige beauty. And as Florence was mentioning in introduction, it starts to also be the case for the fragrance category. So just as a conclusion, we see that the market is really shifting towards a more sophisticated skincare routine, premiumization of hair care and makeup, but it does, and you have to still have that in mind, maintain an affordable price positioning across both local and successful international brands. And it's rooted in traditional Ayurveda, but it's also rapidly evolving toward science-backed and derma-oriented brands, ensuring the efficiency and the safety. And it's really at the intersection of the regional needs driven by the local concerns, by the skincare, the skin types, sorry, the hair types, the climate, the pollution, and a lot of other factors. But it also has a lot of global influences, such as K-beauty. We also see the influence of Middle East, especially in makeup. We see the influence of US in the skincare innovations. So really the India beauty landscape is experiencing a dynamic transformation. And we are really looking forward to see where it's going to go in the next year.
Also, I would add that we can see a lot of international companies investing into the Indian cosmetic brands. We were talking about Forest Essential, where Estée Lauder has got stakeholders, but there is Unilever, very dynamically active, and also Puig, which acquired 𝐿𝐴. So it's really a market which is, I would say, from both sides, growing by itself, receiving also stakeholder from for international market. So there is a lot of things happening there. So I will stop sharing.
Thank
So
you
that we
very
can
much
see.
for this great insights. I've seen a few questions, so if you, I put you through them, the questions, and if you could,
Bettina, can I ask a question first?
yes, please.
Yes,
Yes,
it was
you're
very
welcome.
interesting. Thank you to both of you. But when I saw the price with this lipstick, Estée Lauder and Sabyasachi, it's 55 euros, which is an European price. And is it work, this kind of edition limitée?
So it's not the first time that there is a collaboration with Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi is the Indian designer, and he has collaborated both with L'Oréal Paris, H&M for collaborations that were really cheaper. And this one is a quite prestige one. I have seen it a lot in the stores in India, but to be honest, I have not heard a lot of Indian consumer talking about buying this particular collection. So for me, it's a collaboration that was also made at the moment of Diwali, and particularly for the festive moments. It can be a very beautiful gifting for weddings, for instance. But compared to the general makeup market,
Yes.
it's not the brand that would be the one that is making the big of the market, I would say.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
a lot of, for me, it's a lot of visibility. It's showing
Yes,
that
yes,
they
yes.
are
For buzz
partnering,
and okay.
but
For social
honestly,
media and okay.
not sure it's so successful compared to others.
also just would like to add that it's also part of the Lauder strategy to be very dynamic in all the markets, because even in China they are launching products. They have a lipstick in China which is a glass lipstick that you will not see anywhere else, made in China for China, not very successful honestly, but very and pricing around 75 euro, but very unique in the way that it is made in collaboration with a local supplier, local brands, local needs or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
So I put you a few other questions, Florence, in this chat. So you have normally received it. So I don't know if you or Héloise would like to answer.
Okay, let's just look at the questions. It's not important in India. So regarding the question about the importance of smell or scent in a skincare in India, it's true that some brands like Forest Essential have really played a lot on the fragrance in their skincare. I would say, for instance, if we look at the brands that are really working well right now, such as Minimalist, the Dermaco, the more like derma or scientific-oriented brand, scent is not really something that is important. But when we look at more lifestyle, prestige brand, then scent can really take part of the identity. And generally, I would say that it's more important in the hair category and in the body category compared to the skincare category.
Okay, and I put you another one.
Smell. So regarding makeup artist brands, that's an excellent question. We see, honestly, we see, for instance, a brand like K Beauty. That is a brand that was developed by a Bollywood celebrity with the beauty retailer _NYKA. It's not a makeup artist brand, but it was developed with makeup artists. And a lot of makeup artists say that they use this brand on Bollywood films, for instance. So I would say that's the one that I see on the market that is more like makeup artist-like. Honestly, it depends on the price positioning, and it depends which makeup artist develop it, because compared to the US market, where the makeup artists are actually the ones launching the trends and pushing the markets, in India, makeup artists are not so famous compared to, for instance, Bollywood celebrities or dermatologists. For instance, dermatologists are really seen as now almost influencers. But in terms, or even beauty influencers or lifestyle influencers are the ones launching makeup brands. There is this influencer called Nikita Aval who just launched her own skincare and makeup brand. But in terms of really makeup artists, I have not seen them being the ones launching trends and launching their own brands. So I'm not sure about the success of this because I'm not sure about how visible these makeup artists actually are and if they're really considered as the influencers on the market.
Okay, so we have still questions.
Yeah, so regarding the celebrity brands contributing to premiumization, I would say yes, definitely. I don't know if definitely. The example I just give about K Beauty, celebrity brands, is contributing to premiumization. We have Hyphen by Kriti Sanon. We have a lot of celebrities launching their own brand. We have Deepika Padukone with her brand 82 East. Who we did buy it and we actually really love it. It's an amazing brand. But sometimes they do have to rethink their pricing when they want to really go to the local consumers because they work for us, but do they work also for all their consumers? So is there, sorry, is there another habit?
Yeah, I put you another question in the chat.
So. Context to use of skincare and cosmetics.
The context of using skincare and cosmetics, I just would like, as it was mentioned, there is a very strong ancestral tradition linked to Ayurveda, linked to DIY, what we call kitchen beauty made, and it is something that is rooted in the in how can I say in the DNA, and it is also things that the grandma teach to the to her I mean the mother teach to her daughter, who teaches it to her granddaughter, and so on. It's really something that is part of the must do. Sometimes people will tell you, oh, Sunday is my oiling hair day, dedicated hair, so I'm not going to do anything else. So it's really that makes this market very unique and very special. And as we mentioned, the Ayurveda and the home and the DIY mask and so on still keeps going on in different ways, but has been accelerated with the COVID because people went less to do the facial. But yeah, we can, and it's also part of the, we've seen amazing data. It's part of making women confident in themselves. It's a very unique market where young people have a high sense of self-confidence because it has been boosted by their mom beauty recipe and by their grandma beauty recipe. So it is something which is also very important. And the last thing I want to add is also it's a market where being neat, clean, being perfect for the outside world is really important. So people do really, even though they are living in shelters or whatever, they do really take care of being very clean, washed, perfectly braid hair, and so on. So you cannot evaluate from just looking at them, you know, where they come from. So it makes sense to take care of yourself, and it extends in a way to the beauty and cosmetics.
Thank you. So I think there was a last question in the chat that I put you through.
So the question about the biggest influences on the market, uh, honestly, that's like I can do a whole report about it because it's not so much like one influencer. There are a lot of skin influencers, makeup influencers, hair influencers. It's like a huge market of influencers. I would say, if I had one name, it's a bit difficult because I would say till today, for instance, the Bollywood celebrity Alia Bhatt is one of the most followed, and every time she does something in beauty, everyone follows her. Like she did a video for Vogue Beauty where she was doing ice facial, and then I did some interviews in India, and everyone was doing ice facials. So I feel she would be the leading, but she's a Bollywood celebrity. She's not a skincare influencer. But if we look at really the influencers, honestly, that's I could do a different presentation on it because it's a huge market. There are hundreds of influencers for dark skin, for lighter skin, from the North India, very different from South India. If you're looking for influencers from Delhi, they're way more about they're more show off, let's say. If you look at South Indian influencer, they would be more grounded, more close to for instance in Bangalore, close to nature, close to minimalism. So it's very hard to answer for just one influencer. Yes, I read that you have to know when she says something to really follow her in terms of beauty.
We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying Alia Bhatt, the Bollywood star I was mentioning, is one that is really followed for beauty tips.
Lovely. Okay, is there a last question in the room?
Yes, when I was living in India, I was really young, and I was young, and I was doing my course to become a cabin crew to work in planes. So I was really interested by beauty because it was an important criteria. So what I think is that in India, even the male people, they are a lot motivated towards beauty. So if you would like to say some words about it.
The male market is also the male grooming market is also huge. We didn't even introduce it here because it's another world, I would say. But there are a lot of very interesting local brands such as Beardo, the Bombay Shaving Company, the Man Company that are doing a lot of things regarding beard care, hair care, but also skincare now, body shaving. There is a lot of insights coming from there. I would say fragrance is also a very big category for men. We see that it was a market that was basically a lot of use of deo for body or body mist, and now it's really going into the more sophisticated fragrance for male. And skincare is also quite big. Even if it's bigger than the woman category, we see that men are into brightening, into starting to be into sunscreen now. So yeah, it's also a huge market for men.
I would add that not only it's a huge market, but from compared to all the market analysis we do on all the Asia Pacific area, the Indian male beauty market is the most innovative one. They have product and product concept you cannot find anywhere else. Like Héloise was talking about the beard, I never be able to say the beard care and so on. There is amazing product and probably most innovative market in the world related to beauty. Of course, everybody talk about South Korea for cushion and skincare, but they follow the trends of the female. While the male ones in India is a must look at.
So we have to do a session about it next time.
You
so
have to
there
do
are-
a session on male beauty. You have to do a session on fragrance.
That's it. Just two questions, and then we will stop because otherwise we are not really in time. So I put you last two questions, and then we go ahead.
Yeah. So for the first question, that is, are the Indian consumers open to trying new things, products, and rituals? I would say yes, but it also depends where it comes from. For instance, the market was very, I would say basic, let's say basic, in skincare 4 or 5 years ago, and today people are into retinol. They're into very specific ingredients. That's because there's been a lot of work from brands, from influencers, and a lot of influence of social media on what to use on the skin. So they would be interested in trying. But for instance, most consumer who wants to try retinol, they first go to their dermatologist and they say, "Can I use retinol on my skin?" Or they're going to watch 10 videos on Instagram from the dermatologist saying, okay, how to use retinol for beginners, how to use retinol on sensitive skin, and so on. So they're going to look for the information before trying, and they're not going to be open to any novelty if it comes from nowhere. So it has to have a scientific background or any kind of background. But they really are open to trying new things. So yeah, I would say it's an open market. And the latest question, what is the future of niche brands made in France, inspired by Ayurveda for the Indian market? So I think it's an interesting question because now I have seen 1 or 2 brands now on the French market inspired by Ayurveda, especially a hair care brand. And I think, yeah, that's one that I'm thinking about. I'm not sure about their potential in the sense that I think it's quite interesting for the French market because we don't know so much about Ayurveda, but we are very interested in natural beauty in France, and we're interested in holistic beauty. But apart from the question of do that work on the Indian market, is what would be the point of this brand to go on the Indian market? Because there are already a lot of Ayurvedic brands on the Indian market. So what would be the expertise of being French but backed by Ayurveda? It would have to have, I think, a very particular identity, a very particular articulation on being French, but also have Ayurveda. What would be their plus-value? What would be their really interesting point of differentiation if they want to enter the market? And also, would they be considered reliable for the consumers that already know Ayurveda? That's the second question. So I bring more questions than answers for this one. I'm sorry.
This we could answer separately because it's about similar to what we have seen for traditional Chinese medicine-based brand to be launched in China, for example. I mean, local people are not that much interested in if you are French, they want to have a bit of exotism from French, something different, something new, something that would really be rooted in the French culture. So they would, prefer to buy a French baguette than French Ayurveda. And in France, we love buying a cheese naan, which doesn't exist in India. And we are not looking to buy a baguette when you are in India. So there is all these things that I think it's really what people are really looking for and the potential that you can. But it doesn't mean it's no go, because there is a big lifestyle trend, a big, I mean, you know, in India, people do yoga from the school, but there is anyway, all these retreats, all these way of, you know, of related to wellness and well care and so on. So potentially with a kind of organic certified things, there could be some potential, but it has to be a very, it's very niche, I think, and should be discussed.
So thank you very much, Florence and Héloise. It was an amazing presentation. And also, I think the public was really engaged because they ask a lot of questions, and that's not always the point. So thank you so much. And Anish, before I start with the next presentation, do you want to say something, perhaps?
Yes, Bettina, I would just like to add some things on the same point about Ayurveda. It's the same story even with the fashion sector. So you have these French or European brands who would like to go to India, but they cannot come up with saris. They have to keep their identity. And on the other side, you have this all these Indian brands who would like to come into Europe, and in the two ways they have to keep their identity. So what I feel about the Ayurveda is we can see the pharmaceutic, the medicine. So in India you have the Ayurveda since long time, but there are scientific medicines, Western medicines, which took over the Ayurveda. And I think that it was possible because Ayurveda, it takes time. It's a long process. If you are sick with something, it will take a lot of time, and if you take the new medicine, it will be really fast. So I think Ayurveda, it's already being used since long time, and the Western brands, if they come with solutions, we are really rapid. It can really work in India.
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead. Do you see my screen? Everybody seeing my screen? I'm sharing it. So
Yes, we can see it.
okay, perfect. So my presentation will close today's webinar. I'm specialized in anti-aging, in particular in longevity lifestyle. So I will explain you in a few words what it is and what are the opportunities and what I'm doing in this field. Because as you have seen, I'm a little bit elder than a few of you. And also just so you see the next screen. So, okay. Okay. You could see the next screen with Adriana Carambeu.
Yes, we see you.
Okay, perfect. So so as you know my name, you have seen my name and everything. So I'm a beauty wellness journalist since 2001. So that means that I'm a little bit elder than a few of you. And I was also the founder of the International Luxury Spa Summit that we organized in 2011. In particular, we had as a partner Steal and Speak, which is a big, huge spa magazine in India. And as I told you, as I'm also a member of the cosmetic executive woman in Paris. So I want to start with something which I've seen recently. So there is the turmeric, a spice that all the Indians know very well. And as you know, it's I don't have to say to Indians what it is, but what is really interesting in this is there is a growing interest in this kind of ingredients for especially which is used today by huge brands as a key ingredient. So, for example, there is Shiseido or My Blend, the luxury brand of Clarins and all that, who is using it. So an amazing thing for me. I think it's really really fantastic. So this is the first thing I wanted to share with you. And then also why it is so important. And you've spoken a lot today about Ayurveda. For me, the holistic part of well-being is really it's really translated to Ayurveda. Yeah, Ayurveda, what I love in Ayurvedic things, treatments, is the whole stuff. So this kind of whole thing, which is body, mind, and spirit. And then with this kind of natural ingredients, also the kind of possibilities. It's not only working on beauty or anti-aging. It goes really on a deeper cellular level, which I think this is a huge, fantastic stuff. And then what's happened today? So today we have a little bit the same problem as in other markets. So today it's not only in Europe, we have it now all over the world. We have this problem that people are eating burgers and stuff like that. Their stress is all over the world is more higher and higher, and also in India. So there are less physical activities and so on, and also people drink a lot of soft drinks and stuff like that, which is not really healthy. So before, people were really related to Ayurveda and all this spirit. And today, what's happened? People are more and more going in this global, I will say global sugar world in a way. So there is a lot of problem all over, and that's why I said to myself, okay, there is 20% only of your health and anti and beauty what is genetic in a way, and 80% is just dedicated to your lifestyle. And this was my first impression. What I said to myself, my God, it's amazing. What could we do in a way? And I had the chance that I have two grandmoms from the side of my papa and from the side of my mom. They were both 100 years old. Now they are not with us anymore, but and I said to myself, I have to check why they had both 100, why they arrived at 100. And I have really to think about my what I realized, what I've seen with them, and what could that be. And this was my first thing. So what I did is I wrote really down all this kind of great ideas what they had. So how they did their cuisine, and how they what supplements they used. They used supplements in this time, not this name that we have today, but all this kind of stuff. And I put all that down. And so I said to myself, okay, I have to establish a program which is called 21 days to create your longevity lifestyle and for a happy aging. So but it's also a huge market, and especially brands, les maisons like Dior or Chanel, they're all at the moment, also L'Oreal and so on. They're all working on which is called reverse aging. So and they have special departments of research to find out what could they suggest for the upcoming market in this field. So, and there is also we are living in this kind of great opportunity where the artificial intelligence is coming out, and it helps us so much to focus on specialized treatments, and to help us to be more precise, effective, and which helps us to be later on younger and healthier, especially. So I put you a few ideas about what IE is possible, what in which part of IE could be interesting. So for me, there are the 2 points, which is so the part of more between me and the customers, so which is more about virtual consultations, personalized recommendations, and things like that. Or this kind of AI-powered analysis of health and all that of your skin. And but there are also, for the professionals, there are this possibility that they could use tailored product formulations and all that, or they have advancements in skin research, which helps them a lot to go further and to establish new things. And then I've spoken a little bit about food supplements. This is also a huge area where there's a lot of there's a lot of development all over the world in anti-aging and longevity. So I don't know if you've heard about NAT, which is a huge new thing. And especially, I think there are a lot of things to do. And I think it's really interesting to, especially to in this field, to permit to people to, especially in different regions, to add things to their alimentation, that it's more healthier and so on. And then the last point, there is also tech, all the beauty tech stuff, which is today a huge stuff. You all have seen on social media this huge, amazing posts about lead masks. Everybody is in red and so on. To improve your skin and to make you 20 years younger in 2 minutes. So this is a huge thing as well. And then, for me, the Indian wellness market is really, for me, at one hand, it's really in the same. They have always a look on a global trends, but not only. And this is what I think, which is really interesting. So that there's not only the traditional part with Ayurveda, but also there will be the modern health technologies which help to improve all that. And the most important thing that I said at the beginning is that there is still this knowledge about holistic. So this holistic knowledge about body, mind, and spirit, and this is so helpful for today's longevity lifestyle. So my projects in this field are the creation of an unforgettable home spa, included coaching to develop personal wellness routines, and social activities with friends enhanced by home devices like face mask and all these kind of things. So thank you for hearing my presentation. And so I look forward to questions if there are.
I have one question for you, Bettina. So where will this spa be?
Sorry?
Where will be this spa that you are going to create? This home
This will
spa?
be a specialized or personalized home spas that we will do at home in the properties of Indians.
Oh,
So this is the
you're
idea.
coming to
Yeah, so we will create a spa area in properties, in Indian properties. I work with
wow.
different people on that project, so that and that we will do this really personalized, because they have so huge properties in general, and it could be interesting to create their own home spa where they could invite their friends and so on.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Bettina.
Yes, you're welcome.
I wondered, when we talk about longevity nowadays, isn't it going to be a kind of early aging care? You know, in China, they anticipate, and even in Korea now, they are talking about slow aging. So it's all about taking care of your aging process at an earlier stage. So is longevity finally a new early aging care?
This is totally right, Florence, because what's happened is that people age in, we will say, at the age of 20, 25. It depends on your genetic, and totally a longevity lifestyle is like I will say like a preventive lifestyle for when you are 50, 60, 70 and so on. It's not only anymore that people will think about it when they are 50 or something like that. So it really starts at the beginning, and we see all in the global market. It's not only in one market in particular. Everywhere, the new I put that information on it. The new nightclubs are the new the wellness spaces are the new nightclubs in a way. So and the younger generation, they're really early. They start with this kind of prevention that we say in French, preventive stuff. Yeah.
I have two.
Nice space. You're welcome.
I wanted to have a few advices for Indian women, like the one who are housewives, and also the professionals. If you have some advices to for longevity and anti-aging, just 2-3 advices for them.
Okay, the most important things from my point of view in longevity, there are 4 main parts. So this is, for example, there is first of all what you eat. This is the most important thing. The second one is if you do exercises. This is a huge thing, and there is also the stress, which is a huger thing at all. So how to be more resilient on stress and how to take it in a way. And then there is all the care of your skin, because the skin is a huge part of our body, and we do not realize that very well sometimes. So this is for example, what we could do all right now, if you have 1 second, what we could do, we could have a brief like that. And this, for example, this is the first step to less stress. If you are stressed right now in your space, Okay, if there are no questions anymore, so I will finish the session. Okay, thank you very much for coming today. I thanks a lot to a lot of thanks to Gabrielle de Montmorin, de Florence, and de Héloise, the Asia Cosmetic Lab, and we hope to see you soon. Namaste. So keep, please have a look on our LinkedIn page that you see all our updates for our next events. So I say goodbye